there's one piece of context that people are taking out. First of all, Giannis did the most gentlemanly uh, way of telling y'all, yeah, well, I'm out, man. Like I want to be gone or whatever. But he never said he wanted to leave. He said he's open to leaving. But I think that the interpretation that he does want to go is what it is. I think he's finding a very political way to get out of Milwaukee, and I think that they may look into doing that for him. I think they will do right by him. But at the end of the day, man, like all these things that Giannis is saying about, and now people are playing guess who or whatever with Giannis, and like he's saying, oh, I want to go to a state that whatever like doesn't have income tax and all that, whatever state, whatever. And now we're playing where in the world is Carmen San Diego with what Giannis is saying. Aging myself on that, of course, but man, it's there are other factors going to come into this. Like Milwaukee's going to do the best trade for Milwaukee. They're not going to do just this custom made trade where they send Giannis to Milwaukee. I mean to Miami, and Miami still keeps Bam, and they still keep Tyler Hero, and they keep their like that's not happening, bro. Like they're not just gonna send him somewhere for some money that adds up to Giannis. I think people have to understand this, bro. Giannis Antetokounmpo for that Milwaukee Bucks organization that's been around since the very beginning. I want to say they were an original NBA team. You're talking about Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, and this dude. like you're talking about probably the best player who's
Kareem played for him.
What did I say?
Oscar.
I said Wilt Chamberlain. I mean Kareem.
Yeah,
no,
Kareem.
Kareem. Yeah, not Wilt Chamberlain. You're talking about Oscar Robertson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and this dude. Like that's how far you're talking about as far as the history of this team, right? And I don't think Milwaukee is that quick to say, okay, I'm going to trade this guy in his prime, and let me make the Golden State Warriors like legacy stretch out longer. Hey, just run me Jonathan Kuminga and we'll be fine. Like, no, man, like it's not going to be that type of deal for Giannis. And I've been holding this to say this. I hadn't said this on Twitter, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but I think people have to kind of expand their horizons to what Giannis trade could look like because of the caliber player you're talking about, who's still in his prime. He's only 30 years old. If I am Milwaukee, if I call Denver, how fast is Denver going to hang up the phone if I say, hey, let's do Jokic for Giannis right now? I'm asking you, Kim. You're Denver. You think Denver's going to hang up the phone fast?
Hell yeah.
If I said Jokic for Giannis right now,
I would say no.
All right.
Absolutely not.
You would say no, right?
Yes.
But is it outside the realm of possibility if I said, hey, okay, Mr. Denver, like don't hang up the phone so fast. Like, you know that guy you got? Do you really think he's going to play in the NBA more than 4 or 5 more years before he says I'm done with this crap? Come on, man. Just go ahead and trade us to Fat Boy. Here's Giannis. Well, I'm not saying that's happening. I'm not predicting that to happen. I'm not saying that's likely to happen. But what I'm saying is, with a player at the level of Giannis Antetokounmpo, bro, nothing really is off the table when we're talking about trades. If I'm Memphis and Milwaukee says, hey, I'm about to trade Giannis Antetokounmpo. Give me your young star. I'll give you a guy who's squeaky clean. He ain't gonna say nothing crazy. He ain't gonna do nothing crazy. He's gonna play 70-something games a year. Is Memphis gonna say, "Oh hell no, no, bro, he's gone"? Like if Milwaukee calls Memphis about Ja, like Ja's gone. Like this happened. If he calls Boston, hey, I know Jason Tatum just had an injury. Let's do Giannis for Tatum. All right, bro. Where do I sign? Like it's gone. He's gone. And like we're thinking that there's gonna be some charity case trade. I just don't think that's gonna be the case, bro. I think this could be a star for star level trade. If you're talking about a guy like Giannis, you could catch a team and say, hey, if Oklahoma City loses this playoff series to Denver, and you say, hey, let's do SGA for Giannis, you think Oklahoma City's gonna say no?
Come on, man. I mean, I think you're talking about. Obviously, you mentioned a bunch of players there. When you talk about Jokic and SGA right now, you're talking about MVP caliber player.
Yeah, right? You're talking about MVP level player in Giannis too, though. And people think you're gonna get them for freaking Desmond Bain. Like, no, bro, that's not happening.
Well, no, like, my theory on it is Milwaukee is they're at some point gonna have to consider like what it looks like to rebuild their franchise, right? To start from scratch.
Because they're going to be ass for a while.
Because they're going to be bad for a while. Even with Giannis.
Dame's out. Yeah, even with him.
Even with Giannis. And so the star to star idea doesn't make sense to me because why would Milwaukee trade a star and still have shit on their roster, right?
because they
They're
want to be relevant, bro.
but for
Like
me,
I'm not trading. I'm not sending him to San Antonio for the dude with the Dennis Rodman hair and the kid is just on rookie of the year. Like, no, I'm not giving you that, bro. Like, I'm not sending him. Like, I'm not giving you Devin Vasil, and like, no, I'm not. I'm not trading the best one of the best players in the history of my organization for parts. Like, that's not
unless
happening, bro.
unless you're trying to rebuild your roster around a number 2 draft pick who could potentially be your next guy, right? Like who could potentially be the next guy for your franchise, right? Like so if you go we got the number 2 draft pick, this guy, this draft specifically because of how loaded it is
Mm-hmm.
will be more than likely a
Mm-hmm.
franchise type player. Then you add in the
Right.
Stephen Castle, you add in the Devin Vasils, you add in the Keldon Johnsons, you add in those guys, make the money work. Why would Milwaukee not do that?
Hell no, I'm not doing that crap.
You're
Because
rebuilding your franchise around a
I
potential
got one of
franchise
the best
guy.
players in. I got one of the best players in the league, and I'm gonna sit down with Giannis. I'm be like, Giannis, you my guy. I understand, bro. We want the best for you. But get your agent on the phone. Tell him to go find a trade that makes sense. I'm not. I'm not trading you for Dennis Schroeder. Like no, bro. Like it got to be something that makes sense. I mean, this Milwaukee front office has been a shrewd, smart, like opportunistic front office, bro. These aren't goofballs. You know what I mean? These dudes went out and got, Drew Holiday. They went out and made it. I mean, that whole this Damian Lillard thing looking kind of crazy, especially in hindsight. I didn't like it when they did it. But they've done the moves to stay good. You know what I mean? But it clearly looks over. But I don't think, like I saw somebody saying something about Steph and Giannis have this connection. I'm like, bro, like there's no way Milwaukee's gonna send Giannis to Golden State for freaking freaking Moody and and Podzinski. Come on, bro.
Right.
Like they ain't happening, bro. Like this just ain't happening. Like they're not that goofy. They're not just gonna say let's be ass for the next 10, 15 years, to stretch out Steph Curry's run or whatever. So
I don't
it's gonna
know.
be interesting, man. I
If
just
I'm
can't see it going down like that.
if I'm a GM and I'm looking at a team like Milwaukee, you build through the draft. You don't build necessarily through free agency and trying to go get players with an aging Giannis, with a team that's just kind of not good around him.
Yeah.
I mean, they traded what's his name? They traded for what's his name from Washington, Kyle Kuzma. That dude's just not good. They don't have people to build around. Like they just don't
But
have
what kind
people.
of picks is he gonna get if he send him to Miami and they take some trash back? Miami's gonna be good as hell. You can be
That's
picking
why
in
I
the
think
20s.
But that's why I think San Antonio is set up perfectly because now with this number 2 draft pick, they didn't have the assets to make the trade for Giannis until they got this number 2 draft pick, who will be more than likely a franchise player for them moving
I
forward.
don't know nothing about none of these dudes in the draft other than Cooper Flag.
It is a really deep draft this year.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
So that's why I look at it and I go, if you're trying to if Wemby's the one guy who could be the face of the NBA that's not an American born player, which I think he could be with his skill set, with his eyes, the alien
marketability,
the
yeah. Kids like
marketability.
him, yeah.
Yeah, everybody loves him, right? You add like one of the things you don't want to do, you want to fast track. If you're the NBA, you want to fast track success for them. What's the best way to do that? Go get them a veteran that's one of the best players in the history of the NBA.
If I'm Milwaukee, I'm like, look, I see how y'all do things. Y'all got to come harder than how y'all did with Dallas. If I'm about to give y'all Giannis and make them folks turn, if I'm about to turn the Spurs into what they're about to be,
back into a dynasty again, like they were.
You got to give me an egregious 5-year first round picks in a row, number 1 in a row.
I'm gonna need 5 first rounders in a row.